Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day you've chosen to join us, and however you have chosen to tune in, we thank you on behalf of myself, Adam Gerard Red Thunder, for joining us here from the Batcave. And I'm joined today, as always, in this conversation of all things DC on TV, film, and pretty much anywhere else we can think of to find it, by the Honey Vegetarian O'Neill.
Hello, hello.
And the Dad Knight Braden Hearn.
Snoochie Boochie.
We come to you live from the new and improved Batcave Studios. We took a week off because I had to do a refit. Alfred was in here. You know, where I let the Gimp out, let him do his producer magic, and he's given us a nice new studio to work in.
I like the roof. The roof is a beautiful red colour.
Well, it's to help productivity, he said, and also to help refract the light so that we have a better kind of lighting distribution here in the studio.
In the studio.
Yeah. So there you go. So that's exciting. Big change here from the Batcave. Things are moving up in the world.
I'm allowed to smoke in the studio now. I'm quite happy with that. And I'm going to be taking less breaks, but it is a further trip to the toilet. This is a problem.
Yeah, that's true. And then we know how you don't like to move.
Yeah, this is true. I am the immovable object.
That is what we call you behind your back.
The immovable object made of pudding.
Yeah, sure, that's as apt a description as any, I guess. So anyway, gentlemen, how has the week been this week?
Been good.
Oh, yeah. It's Friday, I'm glad.
It's Friday.
Oh, fucking hell. Good week for TV, though.
Hell of a week for TV.
Phenomenal. My pants have just gotten back on. I think I posted a photo in our group chat of my face after the Flash episode. And
Yes.
That was just, it was gold.
Yeah, it's a good thing it only took them 15 episodes to get to a point where they actually start telling the story properly. That's good stuff. But no, this was, I joke, this was a great week, and I think we're also capped off with a great film. So this may be one of our weeks where the Batcave is
just full of love. That's all it is. It's gonna be a love. It's gonna be the
yeah.
Love Cave.
The Love Cave.
The Love Cave.
It's not another episode from J-Law. Well, geez, that was J-Law must be riding on Harrison Wells. There with that one. That was a drive-by J-Law.
No, she's borrowed the wheelchair. He doesn't need it anymore. It's fine. We know the truth.
No, he does need it again.
Oh, that's true. Sorry, yeah.
Paradox, bitch.
That's right.
The wheelchair paradox. Well, I guess on that note, we should probably talk about the wheelchair paradox. So let's kick into this week on TV.
Queen. After 5 years in hell, I have come home with only one goal: to save my city. To the rest of Starling City, I'm someone else. I am something else. My name is Barry Allen, and I am the fastest man alive. A friend recently gave me the idea for a new name, and something tells me it's gonna catch on.
James Gordon, Alfred Pennyworth. We're gonna get the guy that did this, sir. New boy, are ya? You'd say. Good luck, mate.
Alright, so we start off, no Gotham. Obviously, they don't want to excite us. It doesn't come back till the end of April.
It's okay. We'll
I bet it comes back, then there'll be an episode, then they'll be like, we'll be back in another few months.
So we had this week's movie to tie us over.
That's true. I had a theory, though, on why there may have been a delay. These were very special effects heavy episodes, particularly The Flash.
Oh, yeah. Phenomenal.
I kind of wonder if they didn't need a bit more time to get the effects done. Because think about it, a studio movie has, a year.
Yeah.
If not more.
Yeah.
These guys have maybe
a couple of months.
6 months?
Yeah.
Let's be generous and say 6 months at the max.
Yeah,
like,
so basically,
max.
so hypothetically, like, we've already seen stills of upcoming Arrow episodes, and they're already, like, a couple of weeks easy ahead of us.
Yeah,
and with
exactly.
something like Flash being so heavy on the CGI.
Well, like the water, like the Weather Wizard, and we'll get into this in a second, but
Yeah.
the water especially, I know how hard water is to animate.
Looks
I went to school with animators who just, like, water is the fucking, water and glass are the MS of animators, man. They hate that shit. Like, that's their kryptonite.
Yeah.
And so to just think about how much water they had to put into this thing.
Yeah.
So,
It was.
and I also wonder if maybe, I'm not saying that we're revolutionary leaders in this or anything, that we led the revolution, but I wonder if maybe they didn't also retool a little bit and kind of go, yeah, a few of these things aren't working, maybe we need to rejigger a bit. And
I mean, I think there is a phenomenal difference between Arrow and Flash. I mean, I saw Stephen Amell, I think it was on Jimmy Kimmel, say there is quite a lot of CG in Arrow regarding like the firing of the bows.
Yeah.
But
or him disappearing into nothingness.
Yeah, just into ether, as he does now, because, you know, he's Batman now. But if you compare the CGI workload of both, Flash is hugely heavy on CGI. So, I mean, that's probably why they had to rejig and retool and almost take the storyline back to basics almost. And I do say that this upcoming episode, or the episode we'll be reviewing, is it's simple, but it's beautiful in its simplicity.
Yep.
That's why, for me, it's just phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. Well, I guess, why don't you get into it? Give us this week's Flash.
Alright, guys. This episode was out of time. I've kept the review very simple and very straightforward, so if anyone hasn't seen it, they're under a rock, they're about to leave their cave, they can actually just sit down and enjoy it. Alright, so return...
He won't get to hear this episode for a while. He'll hear it to edit it, but he won't understand it for a while. Okay. He doesn't get TV like this for another 20 years.
You haven't run a cable down there yet?
Yeah, no.
It's kind of like Russia down there. They're just getting Miami Vice.
It's basically... Have you seen The Flash? The old TV show The Flash?
The old one?
No. Have you seen it? Currently on TV, there's a show called The Flash. They keep these criminals in this kind of reactor. That's where I've got him. He's in one of those. You should watch it. It's a good show.
Oh, okay, excellent. All right, so the return back from our break, we return with Clive Marsden. I'm pretty sure it is Marsden.
Mm-hmm. It is indeed.
Brother revisiting Central City to avenge his brother targeting Joe West and his family. We're also showing what seems to be the beginning of the end of Linda and Barry's relationship with a surprise double date involving Iris and Eddie at the local bowling alley. There's a homicide at the Central City PD morgue, which the Flash visits. On his run, he seems to bump into himself. Our villain is dubbed the Weather Wizard by my man Cisco, which I want to talk about later on. Marsden arrives at the PD just as Cisco drops off the Wizard Wand designed to combat the Weather Wizard. Sadly, Flash arrives a little too late as Captain Singh has taken a lightning bolt to the chest and Marsden escapes. Joe is then later captured by Marsden at the waterfront, where he calls Iris to come alone. Of course she doesn't, and Barry is along for the ride. You know, women. Marsden summons...
Never do we tell them.
Never. Marsden summons a tsunami that threatens Central City. Barry is then forced to change into the Flash in front of Iris, saying that he never wanted her to find out like this. As Barry is running along the coast back and forth to create a wind wall, Barry suddenly appears 3 days in the past. Okay. There is the one gleaming huge part that I've sort of left out, which is almost an integral part of this episode, where there's a back and forth between Wells and Cisco. Now, it is revealed who Wells actually is to us.
About fucking time.
Yeah. But I think the reason I left this out is because this part of the episode stood out to me, and it's sort of, Cisco's always shown as this almost lone-ish wolf sort of character, if you look at it, because, you know, Caitlin's got Ronnie, Barry's got Iris.
Cisco's Arbed.
Yeah.
Cisco's the, I guess to put it in science fiction terms, nerd terms. Do either of you guys watch Star Trek at all?
Occasionally.
Okay.
No.
Next Generation, there's a character called Data who's the android who's always kind of on the outside because he's just sciencey. That's what I feel like Cisco is like. He's the dude that gets the makes references and loves movies, and that's why he loves Wells, because Wells seems to love that same thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he's very much the outsider and the nerd that
doesn't get along with his
he was ignored by everybody, so he's used to being quiet by himself, so he doesn't entirely understand friendship.
Yeah. So
that's the feeling I get anyway.
Yeah, it's no, that is, I think you've broken the code, as it were, on that one.
Yet another one.
Yet another one, bro.
That's what happens when you wear 2 gloves.
Yeah. But throughout this episode, you see Wells and Cisco interact a lot.
Yeah.
You know, in the beginning, they're watching an old film together, and Wells basically comment, "Oh, it must be before my time," sort of thing, and it was just little things like that, and they get along so famously. And when it came down to Cisco breaking the internal code of what actually happened in regards to the Reverse Flash getting out of the barrier, he's stunned, and then there's Wells. And then there's this back and forth where Wells turns around, or should I say Thorne turns around and says, "You've taught me what it's like to have a son, and I am so sorry. Please forgive me." And promptly kills Cisco.
Mhm.
So I mean, for me, this sort of stood out from the episode because it showed a ridiculously human element about this world, which it hasn't really touched on that much in a powerful way. So, you know, it almost, like, literally my jaw was on the floor at that point. It's like, oh my god. And in the closing scene we saw Barry go back 3 days. So it never happened, so it's okay.
Yeah, well, going back 3 days really, to me, prevented the biggest tragedy, obvious, and that wasn't what happened to Barry, wasn't what happened to Cisco, wasn't what happened to Joe. It's what happened to Captain Singh. It wasn't a lightning bolt. It means that now, that jacket that his fiance got him, that fine-looking jacket, blemish-free.
Yeah, it's actually also it's kind of nice about Flash as well. We actually got to meet Singh's fiance.
Yeah, it was a
a
beautiful moment.
A young man as well, which is quite nice. Which it kind of almost breaks the meta on, like, as a strong male figure like Captain Singh, who's gay. And that kind of introduced, like,
and I also like the
undertone.
fact as well that, like, when the nurse is obviously, because you don't, it's not the natural thing to think, you know, gay couples, but particularly with a police captain.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so
they had mentioned it before.
Yeah, no, I mean the cops know, but obviously this nurse is just random.
Oh, okay.
You wouldn't automatically, like, for instance, Jim Gordon. If Jim Gordon was gay, you wouldn't automatically go, yeah, saw that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So she doesn't assume this. She just assumes this is some dude.
Yeah.
Because considering that Singh, obviously he's Indian. Or like Pakistani of some description.
Yeah.
So, you know, then when Joe just non-committally was like, oh, this is his fiance, and there's no like, oh, like there's no freakouts or anything. It's just like, oh, of course, yeah, go in.
Yeah, absolutely. Go in.
You know, so
the way society should be.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's I agree with you. That's something they do really well in this. It's something comics have always done well, and that is that they show the world as it should. Like, as much as there's hatred and shit, they show a world as it should be, which is who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Who fucking gives a fuck who he's with?
Yeah, absolutely.
They deserve the right to be in there, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, it's a nice way they tackle social issues like that.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be a social issue, but at the moment it is a social issue.
It's why I'm starting to love the idea of Barry and Iris, because it breaks down that idea of, well, you can't have whites with whites in comic books. Like, no, you don't.
Yeah,
You absolutely do not.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, originally Iris is white.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it doesn't matter because it's the portrayal of a character. And the
Exactly.
character, like, when you cut down to it, race is a very fine, small detail of a character.
Exactly right.
I mean, the Hulk was meant to be grey, and because of an inking error, he turned out green, and Stanley went, yeah, cool, go with it. So
it worked even better.
Yeah, that's just it. It's one of those things that's it's a non-essential.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but this episode, it gave us a lot of answers to questions we had and a lot of theories. Like, we were like going, oh, Wells could be Wally West or could be Barry from the future and all that sort of stuff. And, you know, it was a very neat, simple episode, which I hope they keep to this formula because I like the fact that it's simple.
Well, just before I throw over to Brave his thoughts, I will touch on that because what they finally did was something I mentioned a few weeks ago that I just wanted them to do, which was they keep acting like we, the audience, are in on the story. Yeah. And they hadn't let us in, so it's like, you can't do that. Your audience doesn't understand because you haven't let them in. Yeah. But this week, when you find out he is Eobard Thawne, without question, now we know who he is. But because there's been a time jump, Barry doesn't know. Now Cisco doesn't know. Caitlin doesn't know. It's all reset. But we as an audience know. That's something they could have done weeks ago. Yeah. And it would have been like, if they'd have done this 5 weeks ago. Yeah. Right? Just imagine. And everything that's happened since then has still happened. Yeah. But we've got this first little jump in time, and they kind of cover it with, it's an accident, let's say, the first time. So it's not even Weather Wizard. He jumps back in time as an accident. Yeah. But we've got that scene with Cisco and whatever. You then have 5 episodes to develop this, that we, the audience, then start being able to distrust Wells.
I agree.
And that's what's been missing, is the whole, because they don't know whether to trust him or not, something like that should be a huge turn. Yeah. But to me, it wasn't as emotionally impactful because I'm like, yeah, well, no shit. Yeah. Anyway. If you are the bad guy, you're the bad guy. Yeah. You're going to do horrific shit. Braden, what do you think?
Oh, this is definitely the best episode in the series yet.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not really prepared this week. I'm only wearing the one glove this week. I couldn't get any notes on that. But
you get out, Barbara.
It'd be interesting. Well, I just got a massive sound in my headphones then.
Yeah, that's what happens when there's too much silence.
Be interesting to see where it goes from here. How long it's going to be till we do get maybe a paradox or something like that. We've got a crossover coming up again from what I've seen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very soon. So I actually did think, because they had those little trailers come up recently, I think it was the Paley ones or something like that.
Yeah, that's them, yeah.
Paley Fest, yep.
Yeah, which I thought, what I got from that, or even the Arrow one, how everyone was hunting up against Oliver Queen, that was part of the paradox, but after seeing this episode, I think that was probably mistaken, but I don't know, I'm very excited to see where it goes. This was definitely a good episode. Only thing I thought was, isn't Eobard Thorne Eddie's dad?
It's a situation where, kind of like in the Old West, where, you know, dudes were named after their great-great-grandfathers.
Mm-hmm.
So you have, like, Jebediahs and
Okay.
Wyatts and fucking whatever else.
Yeah.
Because of that, I think that's what it is. That's Eddie's grandfather's name, and this is probably Eddie's great-grandson, or great-great-grandson or some shit.
Well, for our viewing pleasure, I tracked down the trailer for the next episode.
Okay.
I've put that up on the Facebook wall. And
Oh,
it does touch on the whole paradox. So it's actually, by the looks of it, the paradox is, this thing is going to be a reoccurring thing, like Barry breaking the timeline. He will learn how to do it.
Yep.
And the thing is, what happens...
Well, he needs that for the
Eobard,
crisis as well.
Eobard, I don't know, Wells/Thorne.
Keep calling him Wells.
Yeah, just keep calling him Wells. Okay, Wells reminds me, says, look, no matter what you do, time will find a way to, like, reintegrate what's actually meant to happen.
Yep.
So, I mean, this week, we've got the rogues popping back up.
Yeah.
And by the looks of it, I think in the opening seconds of the trailer, he actually time jumps again, but this time he ends up in a hallway. Okay. So it could be a very interesting way. So I think this is going to be a recurring thing. I mean, he'll eventually learn to tame it.
Yep.
And then we'll get the proper paradox.
Yep, absolutely. There was something that got to me this week. Once again, thought he'd learnt. He hasn't. Barry wore one glove. I'm going to go over the list. There were a list of things. There's one thing I can excuse because it's the TV show.
Yeah.
The rest of it I can't, because there has to be an advisor there to cover the technical aspects of this sort of shit.
Yeah.
Barry Allen wore one glove, then proceeded to touch a sheet that he pulled off the coroner with his ungloved hand. Now, I know you're thinking, well, he's just pulling it off, that's fine. Yeah, it's fine until you think about the contact trace then gets put back when he puts the sheet back down. That's firstly. Secondly, he should have the one that I'll excuse, he should have changed his clothes after getting covered in milkshake, because that's contamination across the crime scene as well. Then, we have just a litany of things he's doing in this crime scene that you just, like, he walks out of the crime, in the scene where he gets milkshaked, right? He's obviously come back into the crime scene because he's already wearing his one glove and he's seen and knows the ice is there, which means that he's left the crime scene wearing his glove, gone out somewhere else to put contamination all over that, then walk back into the crime scene. So once again, Barry Allen, you're bad at your job. Man, come on, we were getting so much better. What happened? What happened, Barry? I know it's been a few weeks since you've had to do forensics, but Barry, come on, man. Come on.
I'll put a note on Grant Gusman's wall from us here at the Batcave. I'm like, dude, just wear your gloves, please.
Please, I don't care what kind of budget. You are the only forensics officer in Central City. Yeah. They're not going to be pissed off if you use an extra box of gloves a month. Just wear 2 fucking gloves.
Yeah, I'll put a note on his wall saying, to save me and the Dad Knights ears some pressure, please just wear 2 gloves.
He's just becoming such a one glover. He really is just such a fucking one glover.
That's our new terminology for someone who fails their job.
Yeah. Speaking of new terminology, I've come up with something that I think we're going to integrate from now on.
Yes.
We have a new ranking system now when it comes to episodes and movies, and I guess anything.
Yes. Whether
it be the quality of somebody's hair, their shoes, something like that. Actually, I have a shoe note coming up in a sec too.
Okay.
From now, we're going to have a glove system. Out of 5 gloves, how would you rate episodes or TVs or whatever?
Absolutely, that sounds good.
So before I get into this week's rating, one final thing.
Yeah.
Selling shoes. Harrison Wells' shoes changed in this episode.
They did.
They were the normal white ones, and then when he turned up where Cisco was, he had like black Nikes with the shock protection and the air and all that. So I think what happens is, in order to run, he needs to play basketball for a while first.
To warm the
Yeah. Well, he's old. He's been there for he's
15
well,
years,
no,
15.
technically he's young because even though he's aged, he's still negative like 200 and some odd years.
Something like that, yeah.
So you know, swings and roundabouts, mate. Look on the plus side.
Yeah.
You grim, moody bastard.
All
All right, so let's give our glove rating in this one, and then move on to next week's. Oh, sorry, move on to this week's Arrow, because I think the problem with this Flash was great Flash, but filler.
Yeah.
Or not filler, wrapping up filler,
Yeah.
because it kind of was enough to keep you going, but it's that we're back from a break, keep watching,
Yeah.
but nothing's going to really progress.
I'm still going to...
Well, talking about not progressing, you know what next week's episode's going to be. It'll be taking care of the weather lizard because he's gone backwards now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's going to have to redo
be
that.
30 seconds, which is waiting out front of the police department,
that's
where the wizard turns up, knee to the face, coming to the pipeline, son.
That's basically,
true.
that is actually touched on in the trailer. It's actually Barry walking through with Marsden into the pipeline, throw him in. Cisco's like, how do you know? He goes, it's good guess, really. So he goes gets him.
Cool.
So, but I mean, even though it is a film...
Marsden's a great villain.
Oh, very cool.
I think that's what worked. It's a filler episode, but because the villain was so fucking
we
powerful.
had a decent villain of the week.
Yeah, who had a reason. It comes back. I know I talk a lot about wrestling on this show, which is a show not about wrestling, but still, it comes back to something I've always said about wrestlers and bad guys. It's a mentality that obviously when they teach you to wrestle, they can teach you to roll, they can teach you to fall, but they can't teach you character nuance. That's just something you learn over time. That's something I'll get into with the movies. Something that I want to talk about is character nuance in that, but I'll touch on it here. So nuance in wrestling is basically if you're a bad guy or a heel.
Yeah.
If you believe what you're doing, it means that much more, because if you're just like, why you're a bad guy? Because I hate America.
Because I'm Russian. You know.
Yeah, it's like this, there's nothing there, but if you're like, why did you attack this guy? Because I want to destroy him. Everything, I hate the guy's face. I want to rip it from his body and wear it and then fuck his wife and kill her so that everybody thinks it was him. That's how much I hate this guy. Yeah. And the Weather Wizard towards Joe really had that, like, you killed my brother, I'm going to rip your life apart in front of you.
Yeah, I mean...
And that's that nuance that you just, a lot, like Pied Piper, for instance, was great, but he didn't have that level of nuance where it's, why are you a bad guy? Because my parents and shit.
Because white privilege.
Because I was gay and they didn't accept me. It's like, well, I don't feel that from you, but from this guy, I felt the rage that would be able to make a tsunami.
I think it's a combination of good writing and acting.
Yep.
Because when you give a good... You can give like a B+ actor an A grade script and they'll jump that grade.
Yep.
So it is about like...
But you give an A grade actor a B grade script, they can still turn it into A grade film.
That's just it. So for me, especially in regards to the writing style of the CW, sometimes it does slip a grade.
Oh, the C dub can be up and down, but this one was...
But this, I mean, the writing of this one, it was filler. I'm going to say, yes, it was filler. Yes, we had a villain of the week, but it was a damn good filler. It was a damn good villain of the week, and the writing was well done. So, for me, I'm going to give it like a, I don't know, 4.5 gloves.
Yeah? I give it a 4 gloves.
I literally might... Look, the photos on our chat, it's just like my face was literally, oh my god, hurry up now. Like, I had that automatically watcher's remorse straight away. I'm like, I've got to wait a week. Man. So, yeah.
So I'll give it a 4 gloves, 3 fingers.
Ooh. He's refined the glove system on its first night.
That's a 4. What's that? 4.6. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. 4.6.
Oh, just because this was the best episode of the series. Yeah.
Actually, for me, it overshadowed some of the episodes of Arrow season 3.
See,
yeah,
I would give you this was close. I'm still a fan of the Nuclear Man.
Oh yeah.
That's
still
me
my
too.
favorite episode.
Me too. But I think this has got that beat.
I do think though that the best episode of this season will be one of the back 3.
Yeah.
Because I can kind of get a gut feeling about where this is going. I don't want to spoil anything yet because we're not close enough for it.
Yeah.
But
another 6
I got a gut feeling about where this is going, and one of those, the final 3, one of those final 3 is going to do something that is just going to, we're all just going to be sitting there without, you thought Cisco dying had your jaw on the floor. You will literally be sitting there like, what the fuck? How is there a show next week?
Well, I know for a fact that that Wells ends up on Barry's spiderweb. I know for a fact Ray's rocking up.
Yep. Ray rocks up 2 weeks?
2 to 3 weeks, because I'm
3 weeks.
sure,
It's episode 18.
Because I realised it the other day. I'm going, oh, Star Labs. Ray wants to rename Starling City Star City. Why wouldn't
Yeah.
he take over Star Labs because it's got Star? You know.
Yep.
I'm like, no. So
Comic book
logic.
logic for the win there.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just how that is. But I mean, for me, this was a phenomenal episode. I can't.
Yeah.
Just watch it.
You can't even.
I was speaking to the statically charged one himself, Mr. Richards, and I said, "Have you seen it?" He goes, "Nah." I'm like, "Do it. Just watch it, please." He goes, "Oh, do it." So
Yeah, I had the same conversation with someone else,
yeah,
Yeah.
and they did it.
yeah.
And did their mouth just be all like, say what?
I haven't spoken to the statically charged one himself yet, so
Yeah, me too. I haven't spoken to them yet. I'm not sure. They're probably still in disbelief.
they're probably just
Well,
watching themselves.
just in awe.
Gonna disbelieve.
Not disbelief, awe.
Or- No, disbelief would be one as well. What, they wrote that good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, TV on the whole has really started getting better lately. It's doing what
We're
movies
using the GA.
should
We're
have
not
done.
using the GA terminology though. We are not at GA yet.
Oh no, we're not.
using
We're
that
not at the golden
terminology.
age yet. No,
No.
not yet. But I believe we're at a new evolution.
Ooh. Oh my.
All right.
Right.
Well, that wraps up the Flash. The Flash.
The Flash.
So let's talk about this week's Arrow, which was episode 16, The Offer.
Yes, so this episode opens up with Oliver over in Nanda Parbat talking to Ra's al Ghul, who offers him the chance to take his position as, Ra's al Ghul.
That's better.
Oh.
That's better. Respect that. Comes down to one thing. Okay, for me. In Batman Begins, he's Ra's. You know why he's Ra's? Because that's how he pronounces his own fucking name. In this, he is Ra's. If I decided to, if my name was spelled Adam, but it was pronounced Adam, and somebody called me Adam, I'd be like, my name is Adam, you son of a bitch.
Anyway. Sorry, bro.
So,
Well, actually, Oliver
respect the
called him
motherfucker,
Raz
Ray.
to his face in this episode.
What was that?
Oliver called him Raz to his face in this episode.
Yeah, and he's lucky he didn't get sorted. If this motherfucker came up to me and called me Adam, I'd be like, say what, bitch?
No, you would actually say, "Thank you, Mr. Queen. Thank you very much," and you would bow your head as you walked back out the door. Thank you, sir. Very good, sir. Very good. Very good. Tea, coffee.
He's not Batman.
Oh no, he might be Batman. We don't know. Yet.
I've got a point to bring up on that afterwards. But let's stop interrupting him. Brandon,
Yeah,
give us
alright.
your Arrow review.
So, Nanda Parbat being offered to be the new Ra's al Ghul to take over for Ra's al Ghul. He declines the offer and leaves with Diggle and Merlin. So when he returns home, finds him and his crew find a new person terrorizing Starling City, Michael Amar, aka Murmur, a man whose mouth has been sewn shut. Meanwhile, Laura and Nyssa bond over their issues with their fathers, with their daddy issues. and Nyssa makes Laurel an offer to train her. Thea is forced to come to terms with her father after Oliver brings Malcolm to the loft to recover. And Lance shuts out both Laurel and Green Arrow after feeling deceived by the pair of them.
Great episode this week. Again, comes down to something I've noticed with these. The better the villain, the better the episode. You notice that?
Yeah, it's true.
You know what I mean? Like Murmur especially, like that's not a villain who should be that good. It's like the Zaz effect on Gotham where it's like, wow, this guy should be good but not this good. And then you have, you know, the mouth sewn up looks so good. And the way they explain like the mouth sewn up means that he can put extra mental power in. It's like
Yeah, it's kind of like a form of meditation or something.
yeah, like that's really clever.
Mm.
I did really enjoy this episode. I did notice something though. Something struck me this week. Thought.
Yes.
We've been talking about how Arrow is slowly becoming Batman,
Yeah.
right? Which would make him Barrowman, who they already have on their cast. So John Barrowman is already Batman, who was the Arrow,
He's
who
a
has
Black Arch,
somehow travelled back in time. So he is officially Bat Arrowman.
Fantastic. You've cracked the code.
I cracked the code to Bat Arrow. So John Barrowman is the end game, and the show will. The last episode will be him standing there when Oliver talks about becoming something else. He'll become John Barrowman, and that's how it'll end. It'll be like
Then all of a sudden, next week on Torchwood. One thing I've got to say about this, I mean, we bagged him pretty hard when we saw Ra's al Ghul. I'm getting really attached to Matt Nable. I am. I'm actually starting to like him.
I'd respect him a little bit more if the goatee was correct.
So I'm probably going backwards with him a little bit. So I remember you saying, Adam, that he wasn't menacing enough.
Yep.
And I think that's becoming more evident
Well, like, even in the episode, like, at the end, he shows up and he arrows those two dudes. And then jumps down the hood of the car, and that guy's like, tell everybody what you saw here.
It was kind of underwhelming.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm just like, I just feel like, yeah, okay. And just run away. I wouldn't tell anybody. It's not like, you know, Batman shows up with a cape, like, billowing whatever lands. It's like, tell all your friends what you've seen. You would be like, yeah, I plan to tell everybody about what I've seen, man. Don't worry.
The thing is, I mean, the idea of that scene was that the arrow is now back to killing people. But
I know what the point of it was.
Matt Nable has actually grown a little bit because he started off as a rugby player.
Yeah, he's been an actor though. He's been on Spartacus or.
Yeah, but at the same time, this is like a very because when you say Spartacus, I mean for me, I mean yes, Spartacus and the whole Roman thing is like old and everyone knows about it. But when you take something like Ra's al Ghul, who's popped in and out of DC Universe here and there, here and there, here and there, has been portrayed so many times and portrayed well. For Matt Nable to actually do this, he's actually gotten better at Ra's al Ghul. For me, he's gotten better. We're not going to have him for a huge amount of time longer.
I agree with you on that. Yeah. I think that I guess the other problem is
his ability to portray Ra's.
Yeah,
that's what I was commenting on.
I guess that the problem is that he's one of those people where he's in a very tough situation because no matter what the role, if you have to fill the shoes of Liam Neeson,
it's gonna be
Michael Caine,
you're gonna have a bad time.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's why to me it's like I see what you're trying to do, and they're trying to make him a little bit more grounded and realistic. But it's like you should have gone as close to the comic book as you physically could look to win as many people over. So at least it's like holy shit, I think that's Ra's.
We might have to actually give this maybe a shade of the justice system here, where we have to presume innocence. We have to presume them. You know. So we might have to give them a little. For me, I like giving these guys a bit of leeway, really, because I haven't heard of them, so I'll give them a chance. And although I did bag him at the beginning, now with the facial hair, he's looking a bit more scraggly.
In comparison to Slade Wilson,
that's
I mean, but that's the thing. I mean,
but Manu Bennett, I think, subsides in a diet of just eating scenery. So,
but I think that's the thing with Matt Nable. He's sort of like now that they've actually officially mentioned the Lazarus Pit is starting to have less effect.
We've seen the Lazarus Pit now. So I like that too. That he's been around for 300 some odd years, and now like they've done the whole it wears off. I was like, that's fucking cool.
He's looking a bit scraggly. If you look at his hair, it's not as neat and trimmed as it was in the beginning episodes. He's looking a bit more scraggly, a little bit more old. I mean, not in a hugely negative. Like, he looks battle-worn a bit more.
Weathered.
Yeah, weathered.
He looks weathered.
So, like, So I'm actually liking this sort of version of Ra's al Ghul for Arrow. I like it.
Yeah.
Once again, Laurel,
Ollie called her out in it this week, though.
Yeah. Real hard. And I'm just sort of...
Raw hard!
Yeah, pretty much. I'm kind of stunned for words because Laurel was just one of those characters I want to like a lot. And she said it... Katie Cassidy said it, Palais or Paley?
Paley, yeah.
Oh, you'll love Laurel by the end of the season. I'm hoping I do, but I'm a little bit over the preteen girl. But what I saw with her and Nyssa sort of bonding, I think
that's where the change is coming.
The birds of prey will start popping up.
Yeah, I think that's where the change is coming.
You know, the Hong Kong flashbacks are actually getting less and less, which is good.
Well, we're getting right towards what's about to. It's very clear what's about to happen.
So yeah,
it's gonna be hard to watch.
It's gonna be very hard to watch, and Arrow is very good at portraying stuff that's hard to watch.
The foreshadowing in Arrow is always really good. There was there's something I noticed. Felicity has changed me up slightly. Ray Palmer now gets hair down Felicity.
Yes.
That's the very, very rare optional extra Felicity that you have to pay the extra $2,000 and stamp duty for.
With sex generally, isn't it? With relationships, when you start dating a girl, they've got the hair up, look prim and proper, and once you just have them on the back for a while, the hair's relaxed.
I found it the other way. That the hair's down, like when they're trying to get you, the hair's down, the fucking tits are pushed out, whatever else.
She did have.
Then you get them for a while.
Well.
Yeah, see. Then you get them. Then you've after a little while. The just ponytail, glasses, and paint-covered overalls.
She's hideous. Actually, no. I think this comes back to our comment in regards to Ray's ability for the X-ray vision. I can see your boobies. So she's covering them up. Maybe there's a bit of lead behind there as well.
maybe they hairspray. The hairspray's covering it all up. Hairspray, my one weakness. How did you know?
I love Brendan Roth in this as well. He's a very good Ray Palmer.
Yeah.
I'm actually starting to enjoy it a lot more now. These characters have. How do we normally put it? Marinated.
Yeah.
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 I think he's also going to become what the Arrow can't be.
Yes.
Or what the Vigilante can't be, I should say.
That's interesting.
Because he's gonna I think he's gonna find out Oliver is at the Arrow and be all like, and basically be like,
he does.
Well, I need to stop.
I'm pretty sure.
Guy.
I'm pretty sure I've actually thrown that trailer. As soon as
I've seen the trailer.
Yeah.
I'm going to go on a limb here and just assume that not everybody has seen the trailer and,
yeah.
you know.
It's up on our Facebook wall. I mean, we do have some partners in crime. The Arrow, Oliver and Laurel page.
Yep.
I believe it's a European page, but they get a lot of stuff quicker because they have a lot of conventions over there in regards to TV. So as soon as they have something up, if I have a look at it, I'll share it onto our wall.
Beautiful.
And there is a line there where Ray basically deadpans, dead at camera, as if he's looking at Felicity and says, you know, Oliver Queen is the Arrow. I'm going to go stop him. And, you know, that's the introduction. For the next 1 or 2 episodes, there'll be a little fight between them. That's good.
Which would make sense because that would put... Well, there's 2 episodes of Flash before he appears.
Yep.
That would time out about right for him to leave. So I imagine something will happen between him and Oliver and it'll be like, leave.
Yeah. Get out of my
Or that's where they need to go to upgrade the suit for some reason.
So I reckon once he leaves, he won't be back.
Yeah, I'm the same.
I reckon he'll be back every once in a while, but I don't think it'll be like a...
Yeah, probably every
he'll
once
be
in a
back.
while. Kind of like...
He'll be back as a, guest
him
host.
and Firestorm, or at least one half of Firestorm is confirmed, are going to both be in this new CW spin-off.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that you'll find that Felicity will be the one who'll pop up more at the end of this season, and by the start of next year, they are replacing Wells.
Yeah.
He's not gone from the season, or Harrison Wells is gone.
Yeah, he will.
Reverse Flash will still exist, but Harrison Wells will be gone, so somebody needs to run Star.
Well, this is the other thing that I was thinking about the other day. We were talking about it, and we noticed it in the 90s series of Flash as well, with John the Wesley Shipp. Tina McGee, who runs Mercury Labs.
Yep.
She actually came up in the new series in regards to... No, that was in the episode of the Reverse Flash.
Yeah, the one with the
it was.
Tachyon. The
Tachyon.
Tachyon
Yeah.
thing.
So that's maybe she's a possibility to take over Star if Ray Palmer ends up leaving for this spin-off.
Well, in the comics, Mercury and Star are rival labs.
Yeah, but yeah.
So it makes more sense that that's a setup for Ray because she is an opposing force to Ray.
Yeah.
Not to.
So maybe we're gonna have that.
I think it's very clear that we are heading to. They're trying to stick very much to canon where possible.
Yeah.
And canon is that Ray will have Star Labs.
Okay. Cool. We've just gone back to... Oh, no, we're still on Arrow.
No, he will have it.
Yeah. I mean, this episode of Arrow was good. I enjoyed it. I didn't enjoy it as much as Flash, so I'm probably going to give it about 3.5.
Yeah.
4 gloves. Maybe 4 gloves.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I don't want to say this one was a filler episode, but to me it was an episode where it was the setup episode, the new premise episode, because we now know he got an offer from Raz that if you don't take, he's just going to force you to take. You've got Captain Lance, who's just so angry now that he's literally got to the point where it's like, you know what, fuck you all.
Yep.
I don't care anymore. I'm just going to follow the law and whatnot.
Yeah, what is it? I need a name. He goes, good, you can have it. You can read about it in the paper tomorrow morning.
Yeah. So. And we've got Ollie, who was trying to lighten up a bit, but I also like the end where it's like, I don't need thanks.
Yeah.
I don't need praise.
I remember, it's not why I do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My problem with that, though, was that he don't know what he shot that arrow at when he just glided up into the night.
Yeah.
I'm looking at that, I'm like, there's no build.
That's not the first time that's happened,
It's because grappling. That's what it is. It's because grappling. Batman does it as well. He just up in the air, boom.
Yeah.
I think
Maybe I
maybe...
expect that from Batman. Batman's probably got some sort of like anchored grappling gun that drags him towards it like some sort of magnet.
This is true, but I mean, for me, the showstopper for this was Murmur.
Oh, Murmur was fantastic.
That's the thing. I mean, what was it? The reason was because the cops beat a confession out of him, so he sewed his lips shut.
Yeah, because you can't confess if you can't talk.
That's it.
Yeah.
It was just phenomenal. I thought it was absolutely great. Like, that is the craziest villain thus far.
Yep.
Easy. Like, you can take Brick. I forgot about Brick straight away. As soon as I saw the dude with his lips sewn shut, and it wasn't nice, neat, surgical. It was like grandma style, knitting a sleeve back on a jacket style. I'm like, wow, that's crazy.
There's something that struck me as weird though this week.
Yes.
Notice the fact that Diggle. Well, there were two things about this. They come back from Nada Parbat, and Diggle's just acting like he wasn't in prison for whatever. That's fine. But the other, well, it's funny. That's he didn't need to do that. It's just Diggle. He's used to oppression, obviously. The second part, though, and the part that really I didn't understand is that they found Malcolm Merlyn beaten up and like hanging over a pit of coals, roasting his legs. Yet the part of him that doesn't work is like his face.
Yeah.
That's
he was pretty
not
severely beaten by looks of it.
No matter how beaten up his face is, his legs would be just a burnt shell. So he can just. But that to me, where it's like, that's what I mean. There's little things. I understand it's a comic book and all that, but it's like if you're gonna portray that he's had the shit kicked out of him, at least portray it with the point where it's like he can't walk. He needs to stay on heel.
Yeah.
His legs are burnt to fuck.
Yeah.
And he needs to heal. And then when he does, because then the thing about it as well, when he, at the end, because didn't he storm out at the end?
No.
Or
He
No, I don't think he did.
limping pretty bad.
But I mean, just think
into a
about the
different
part
room
where
or
he finally gets off the couch then and gets up to go to speak, and I would feel for this guy when he's like, no, I'm going to stand up and make my point on legs that are just broken and bloody. That they want us to care about Malcolm. They do. So it's give us reasons like that. This is what I mean by there's these little things they could do with these scripts to just turn them into fucking absolute knockout things that would make people's minds melt, and they miss them, and I don't understand how you can miss these little things.
Oh well, like it's like with everything, because I don't think we've had a character like Malcolm where he's been tortured. He was one of the horsemen of Raish. So he could be sort of acclimatized to that sort of torture, but at the same time, that's one of the little things. And if it's one of those little things that stand out for the episode for you, and it's the only negative they can take really away from the episode, I think it's a solid episode anyway.
I agree with that, but I guess I just mean that what I would love is just if there was somebody on their staff who could go through and just add these little touches, because I can just see in my head, if you give a scene like that to Barrowman and you say, this is what you're going to deliver at the end of this, you have the most pathos-enduring thing that would have been, that scene would have been equivalent to what happened with Cisco and Wells. For this episode, if he'd got up on his legs and been like, you might hate me and whatever else, but this is the only way I know how to be a father. And he's standing there, he's been like, and you can accuse me all you want.
Like leaning on the couch or something.
Yeah, or like, or like, even if his whole point was just, because fathers stand when their daughters fall, and like he's forcing himself up, and because it's clear that Oliver doesn't like him but somewhat respects him, and it's moments like that as an audience would make us fucking respect the hell out of it.
Yeah. So I mean, from here I don't know what they're going to do with the magician character.
I think Malcolm's dying this year.
I think he might kill himself. I was half expecting him to see him hanging off that balcony.
Yeah.
I mean, that's interesting. I mean, he sort of begged Thea.
I thought he's going to sacrifice himself for
Thea.
For greater good.
No, it'll be for Thea. It's always for Thea. Like, the funny thing is,
they
always come back.
I think it'll be for Oliver, for Thea.
Yeah.
But I could see Malcolm. Ultimately, they want an arrow. They want the vigilante. It's me.
Yep. But the thing is, we've also seen the part where Lance finds the arrow cave.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. So
doesn't matter.
It could be Barrowman.
You find that shit, be just going to be like, it was me.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I've got the training. I've got everything.
It's
it was
confession.
Me.
So Barrowman might actually. Malcolm might actually do that.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So
like if it came down to that's what it took to clear Oliver so that Thea could have positivity in her life. I think, but that's what it's going to be, is that Malcolm is going to die the hero. This is the opposite. I love that line in The Dark Knight of you either become the hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Yeah.
I think for villains it's always the reverse, where you die the villain or you live long enough. Sorry, you live as a villain. Or you live long enough to die as a hero. Because they all, like villains on the whole, always seem to redeem themselves at their last moment somehow.
Yeah. That's a very good point. That might be it then.
So
Because
that's what I
this
could
being
see.
based in America, you think in this universe will they have the death penalty?
Wasn't Moira up for the death penalty?
No.
I'm sure there was
Possibly,
a death penalty. There was a storyline.
It was.
Because she got life.
They were going to
and then they
life
patrolled him, and they paroled her and all those other things. But I'm sure that there was a part where they had to deal with which she had the death penalty.
They wanted the death penalty, so maybe might be very well Merlyn sacrificing himself for
because especially I'm sure they did, because there was an episode where Thea had to deal with Moira. being dead and whatnot. And
Yep.
they're all still tears. It was when she finally broke down and went to talk to Moira. It was when there was the possibility her mother might be put to death.
That's it. Yeah.
So yeah.
So overall, it was a very solid. It was a solid episode, but it was still fairly rich.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see Lance die soon.
Yep.
They've shown in, which is partially why I thought it was part of the paradox as well, but they've shown Lance in the Arrow Cave addressing Oliver, saying, "I've got you now, you son of a bitch."
Yeah.
See, I haven't seen him addressing Oliver. I've just seen him addressing off camera, and I thought it was more of a rhetorical to himself. You know, that bingo.
Yeah.
Mm.
But at the same time, I'm pretty sure at some point there's Oliver and Team Arrow walking down the stairs and see him doing it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Who knows on that one? I guess we'll find out on those in the coming weeks as we're wrapping up. But yeah, somebody's dying soon. I get the feeling for that.
Yeah, it's been a season and our main character hasn't died, and I don't really count it as.
Yeah.
Well,
we've got
either that
the
or
League of
literally
Assassins are coming,
the Arrow is...
so someone's going to die.
Sorry, Brad, what were you saying there?
League of Assassins are coming, so someone will die.
Yeah. I also have the feeling that this year the Arrow dies in the sense that the figure of the Arrow, not Oliver Queen, but the persona of the Arrow will die, and we'll start getting the bit more light-hearted, liberal Ollie.
Yes.
We'll start getting Green Arrow, not
the
Arrow, not the Hood, not the Vigilante.
Yeah.
Because they have said that's the ultimate aim here as this ends. You know, the ultimate aim is to turn this guy into Green Arrow. They know what we want ultimately, but you've got to get the dark out of the guy before you can get the light in.
Yeah.
I think Thea helps redeem Ollie, ultimately.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because once you get Speedy, Green Arrow and Speedy is Batman and Robin, realistically.
And then Arsenal will go off and do his thing.
I think Arsenal's going to get hurt, much like in the comics where he loses an arm and whatever else. I think Arsenal's going to get fucked. I think Arsenal's going in the Lazarus Pit.
Yeah, that's actually very good.
Personally, I think Roy's going in the Lazarus Pit and is going to disappear for a little while because he's munted up.
Yeah.
Because ever since Roy's been in this show, they love to have a season part where he loses for a few episodes. Because he gets munted up by something.
Yeah.
Roy gets munted up. That's the Arrow subplot of the season.
Yeah.
When they're sitting in the writer's room breaking it, they're like, right, how's Roy going to get munted this season?
Yeah.
Can't wait for season 4. He's going to get munted proper in season 4.
Yeah, and he's going to come back he's going to come back Red Hood style.
Yeah, he's going to come back pissed to fuck off. I think he's going to come back with guns. Because this week he picked up a gun and he made a comment about,
So the trank gun for
Nyssa,
yeah.
So he's very good with guns. So
absolutely.
yeah. All right, well, I think that brings us to the end of TV this week. Braid, what do you rate this week's Arrow, love-wise?
Probably give that 3 gloves, 4 fingers.
Oh, solid. I'm
Yeah.
going 3 gloves.
Pretty close to 4, yeah.
I'm going 3 gloves on that one myself.
We'll make a little animation for our page so we can actually sort of we'll have gloves up there with fingers.
Yeah.
I think that'd be nice.
Should we come up with something?
We'll come up with something. We always do.
Give us time on that one. We'll come up with something. Oh, that should be good. All right. Well then, let's go to the awards for this week. Have we got a Barbara Gordon bitch out either moment or person of the week?
Once again, for me, it's Laurel.
Yeah.
It's for the same reason as last time, because she's been bitch-faced Laurel. And it just, I get it, she's pissed off at Oliver, but every single time he walks into a room, she's like, I'm still angry at you. I'm angry at you. Oh, I'm angry at you, but I'm glad you're not dead. By the way, I'm angry at you.
Yeah,
right, you're fucking angry at him.
When are you going to stop telling me I need training? when you start needing training.
So I'd agree with you there, but it's become a consistent. For me, Nyssa gets it this week, confronting her daddy, going, "I want my throne." Basically, he's like, "Daddy, I want an Oompa Loompa Island."
And I want it now.
Yeah, exactly. So she gets my Barbara of the week. It's just grow up.
All right, I'm gonna drop a controversial one on you. Ready for my Barbara of the week?
Oliver.
Ra's al Ghul.
Ooh.
Know why?
Why?
Hey, you want to be the new Ra's? No. I'm gonna fuck your life up then, bitch. Teach you to break up with Ra's al Ghul. Ra's al Ghul went fatal attraction in this. Like
He did.
Like, come on, you're the head of the demon, bro.
Did she ex-girlfriend?
Yeah. It's like, dude, you're the head of the demon. Like, go out and find yourself strange. So just give it
You've got 3 daughters.
Give it 6 months. A bloke from Gotham City is going to climb that fucking mountain. You'll be safe, mate.
It's all good. Calm down.
Give us some time.
Yeah, he's going to say no
Ollie
as
goes
well,
back,
mate.
yeah, I'll be the head of the demon. No, some other bloke's rocked up.
Bruce is just
we're
there,
gonna
just
we're
like,
gonna see how this works.
sorry, I've already got that as demon cover.
he's gonna sleep with one of my daughters in about 3 years time, 3-4 years time.
It's weird. They haven't mentioned that he's got any other kids.
I think they're actually kind of trying. Even though
I think they're trying to. Nyssa is Talia.
No, she's
Yeah.
No, in this, Nyssa is. You don't even read. They reckon they're gonna have Talia in this.
No, they won't have Talia in this because even though they're drawing parallels between Ollie and Bruce, they don't want to. Whatever you want to fucking do, if you introduce Talia, therefore, Batman automatically exists.
Yeah.
Damian will have to exist, and then all of a sudden, Batman.
Okay, yeah,
overshadows
I give you
So-
that. But what I mean by Nyssa is Talia is in.
No, I don't think she is not Talia in any way. She is one of, because to my knowledge, in the Son of Batman animated movie, there is mention of other daughters, because Raish never had a son to be the heir.
That's right.
Then
Yeah.
Damian comes along, and then he's trained to be the new
That's
head of
right.
them. So, but what happens is you can make reference to the other daughters, but they won't introduce Talia because she's
No, but
so
they
Batman
have.
heavy.
But he hasn't. They've made he has no other children, and
Yeah.
to me, also the only reason I'm going to stop you there is that you're quoting something that's like 4 or 5 years old canon wise.
Yeah.
I'm talking like the comic they're basing this on is from the 80s.
Okay, so the
where
other
Batman
thing,
climbs the mountain and does
Yeah.
all this shit, and
Yeah,
the
it's cool.
same sort of shit.
so the other
basically
thing I
does.
have to mention that is Mrs. Gay.
Yeah, well, okay. When I say Talia, I don't mean they're going to put Ollie and Nyssa fucking. What I mean by that is, in comic book lore, Ra's al Ghul, I want Batman, I want Bruce Wayne
Yeah.
to be the new Ra's al Ghul. And
Okay.
Talia is like, how about you fucking suck a dick? You've had me trained since I was 2
Yeah.
to take over, and you're going to give it to this outsider from Gotham,
In that,
eat shit, and then he's all like, you need to learn your place order, you need to work
Yeah.
like whatever else.
Yeah.
And that's why ultimately they get together because it pisses Ra's off. That's
Right.
Talia's entire point of getting with Bruce is she falls in love with Bruce, yes, but
Yeah.
it irritates the fuck out of Ra's. I don't see that happening, but Nyssa is filling that void of fuck you, Dad. You don't get to tell me what to do.
in regards to that,
she
yeah.
is Talia
She
in
is
that
that
sense.
thorn in Raish's
Yeah.
side. Yeah,
That's
sure.
what Talia is.
Yeah,
and
cool.
so she's
So if
filling
you
that
mean that
void. But
context, yeah.
I'm not talking about the love
Oh,
storyline at all.
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
There's no romance is out of it. They've got too many romantic
There's
storylines going. I just
Felicity, and
simply
then there's
mean
Farmer, then there's
yeah, I simply mean in terms of Ra's and Talia.
Oh, yeah.
Nyssa is they've just simply gone. Well, we cannot use the name Talia al Ghul.
Unless you're living next door to a Braid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can't use the name Talia al Ghul.
Yeah.
So
We'll have
we'll
Nyssa.
name her Nyssa out. We'll pick one of the out. We'll pick the second most prominent daughter.
Yeah,
Nyssa.
Yeah.
Bang.
As a
Problem solved.
representative for the thorn
Done.
in the side of Raish?
Exactly,
Absolutely, yeah, I
exactly.
agree, yeah. So
That's
that's
what's
basically-
going to happen there.
Yeah, in regards to that. I'm also kind of, there's part of me that's wondering if Nissa's going to try and get into Laurel's pants.
Yeah, I had that feeling
I
too,
sort of
that
like,
it's going to be like
so
she's
you
going to
wanna
get both
hang out?
canaries.
Yeah, it's happened to
Let's hashtag, what do we call it?
Oliver did it first. That's what we'll call it.
Lawson?
Ollie did that first.
Neryl?
Norrell.
Norrell?
Nyssa.
Hashtag Norrell?
Nissa and Laurel, so...
Yeah, so either
Nyssa
Lyssa,
or Norrell.
Lyssa or Norrell, yeah. Norrell's not bad.
Norrell.
Yeah, I like Norrell.
Hashtag Norrell, hashtag Ollie was there first. So Ollie's already done. Ollie's already gone 2 for 2.
Actually, hold on. Hashtag how about them sloppy seconds? Oh, God.
Alright, well, I think that wraps up this week's TV talk. Quite passionate there.
So, we got to do the other award for TV.
Oh, of course, yes.
Senior Cranston.
The most important award. I got so off track there with our just fired up debates that I completely forgot about the most prestigious award in podcast history, the Cranston.
It's rated
In
number
Italy,
3 in all of Italy.
no, in Italy, this is more important than winning an Oscar.
That's what Mr. Cosplay tells us, yeah.
That's what the Italians tell us. The Prime Minister was on the phone earlier confirming who I was giving my Cranston to.
Excellent.
I think that's what he was talking about anyway. He was yelling at me in Italian, I'm not entirely sure. It was either that or he wanted some meatballs, I don't know.
There's this lovely smell coming from the kitchen inside, so maybe.
Wake up tomorrow with a horse's head in my bed, I'll know it's a different story altogether. The Cranston Awards, gentlemen. Obviously, we'll come back to these after our movie picks. But, TV, who gets your Cranston for the week?
I'm going to give it to 2. Actually, it's a joint Cranston.
Oh, it's a conjoined Cranston.
This is a joint Cranston.
A conjoined Cranston, I like it.
And
Who's
this
your
is
conjoined Cranston?
for Cisco and Wells.
Yes.
For their well, for the moment that he found out Wells was who he is,
Yeah.
and that whole, I guess the part, you're kind of like a son to me, but I'm going to kill you anyway. Just that whole scene was just
to me, you've
phenomenal.
You've been dead for centuries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was phenomenal, that scene. I loved it.
Yeah, I'm going to give it to Cisco, basically, because that was the son being betrayed by the father. So that's the Luke and Darth thing going on for me. So I enjoyed that.
Alright, I'm giving mine to Weather Wizard.
Mm.
Because I haven't seen a villain on The Flash that I've literally... I'll take that back. Not counting Grodd. I haven't seen a villain on The Flash that I've actually been like, why would I be scared? Like, there's a few of them where you're like Reverse Flash, for instance, is a frightening villain.
Oh, yes.
But just in terms of as a general dude, just a member of the populace,
Yeah.
he's not fucking with me, I don't care.
Yeah.
And like the rest of it's like, they're not fucking with me.
Mm.
Like, as bad as that sounds, you know what I mean? Like,
Reverse Flash isn't coming for you.
Yeah, there's shit terrorizing my city. I'm glad the Flash is out there, but that's not specifically targeting me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weather Wizard, there is
everyone.
just fucking nothing you can do.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's just, and the guy, like I say, the dude behind that actor's eyes was intensity that you just don't get every day. That's what that scene with him and Joe. I mean, Joe's already an excellent character played by an excellent actor.
Yeah.
And you couple that with another actor who's just so in the scene, and they were just you could get that energy. It just became so real, and that gets my Cranston. I mean, you guys are right. There's a definite runner-up in this episode, but it's that to me. Weather Wizard, as I say, that was a villain that kicked it out of the park.
I didn't even think of Marsden on that one, but no, that's actually why I'm going to change mine to a conjoined.
Oh, another conjoined.
Maybe a 60-40 split, but Cisco, for me, Cisco is kind of the equivalent to my Diggle. I like Cisco. He's that lone wolf character, and I swear if you cut in like a hangover section just there, I'm going to be crying.
Wolfpack is back, cause I'm mass destruction. Guess who's here? The bad boys are wrestling. Testing competition, win the war, that's their mission. Not no mercy, see the rings like the street. If you don't know, you better find out the Wolfpack. Here to prove a point, number one, just believe that you don't want to tussle with them. I'll be avoided them, come in the ring with them, you're never walking out again. So you're back on the Wolfpack. Turn your back on the Wolfpack. Turn your back on the Wolfpack. Turn your back on the Wolfpack. You might wind up in a body bag. Take your chances. Now it's time to show you what
But for me, I like that lone wolf syndrome that Cisco constantly has.
Yep.
No matter he's the loneliest guy in a crowded room. So he's always going to get a level of Cranston from him, and he does it so well. And the fact he was a massive geek before he got the job, even better.
Yeah.
So I have 60-40 split my Cranston. I should probably get that looked at.
Yeah, I think you can get topical cream for that these days.
Not the cure, just a topical ointment that cures itch and burn.
Yeah.
And now for our feature presentation.
He's here! Shoot on sight!
12 years. The ache is still fresh. Like a raw, angry nerve. This isn't about healing. I'm not looking for closure.
Okay, and that brings us to our main event, feature presentation, the big one, the movie of the week.
Insert Terry swooning here.
Batman, Year One. Now I got a quick little synopsis here for you guys. This will be one of my quickest ones ever.
Wow.
Just because I think we're going to have a lot to talk about on the film itself. So here we go. Two men come to Gotham City. Bruce Wayne, after years abroad, feeling his lifelong obsession for justice, and Jim Gordon, who, being an honest cop with the wrong people elsewhere, have both turned up in Gotham City to start their lives anew. After learning painful lessons about the city's corruptions on its streets and that the police department retrospectively, this pair learn how to fight back in their own ways. With that, Gotham's evildoers from top to bottom are terrorized by the mysterious Batman, and the equally heroic Gordon is assigned to catch him by his comrades who both hate and fear him themselves. In the ensuing manhunt, both find much in common as the seeds of an unexpected friendship are laid, with the additional friends and rivals helping to start the legend. That is Batman Year One. Basically, in a nutshell, it deals with the idea that Jim and Bats have both started their first year in Gotham together, and this is ultimately the birth of the friendship that will be Batman and Jim Gordon. Great film. Hour and 4 minutes long, that's with the entire credits, so like an hour and 1 minute long if you don't watch the credits.
Yep.
Watch it. Great film.
I don't have anything to add to that, really. To be honest, I mean, it's one of those, if you were to crawl from under a rock, wherever you are, is that Wells in the background? Possibly.
It was Thorn.
This would be a great introduction to the Batman and Jim Gordon story. It's simply put, it's the most perfect, easiest way to spend 100 minutes learning about Batman and Jim Gordon, how they both start.
60 minutes.
60 minutes, yeah.
I thought it was 104 minutes.
1 hour and 4 minutes.
Oh, I thought you said 104 minutes.
It's a pretty short movie.
No, 1 hour and 4.
Ah, I thought you said 104.
My apologies, 1 hour and 4.
Okay. So it's just a really easy dummy's guide to Batman and Jim Gordon.
Yeah.
And for me, Jim Gordon's the real hero of this movie. This is a movie that centers around. It's not. I don't think it should be called Batman Year One. I think it should be called Jim Gordon Year One, because it's more about Jim than anything else, and his sort of trials and tribulations to get to. I think he's detective at the end of it.
Yeah, I saw it as both. It was really bringing the two sides of the coin together.
Yeah, but I mean, you see a lot more of Jim, and I love how it's written, and a lot of it is in a monologue as well.
Yeah.
So you get sort of inside the mind of how these guys are working. Alfred doesn't really make a lot of appearances. There's no real main bad guy besides the mafia.
Alfred's not really needed in this one, besides just to kind of like
fill in everyone.
Realistically, he has at this point Bruce hasn't done it. Like for half the film, he hasn't really done. He doesn't do much.
Yeah.
So Alfred doesn't really join the Crusade, as it were, until Bruce really costumes up and
really dons the cap.
And we've seen. I think the other reason they left that out is how many times have we seen Alfred's reaction to the first time he sees Batman? You don't need that. You just don't.
That's just it. I mean, it's
superfluous.
There's nothing I could really say. Like all I can do is emphasize how good and simple this movie is.
Yeah.
It's been a really decently simple week of film and TV. That's just it.
It's not your typical movie as well. You don't sort of. I mean, your typical movie you go into, you got sort of the rise of the main character. You see a little bit about them, where they've come from. Then there's a major conflict, and then there's a resolution to that. But that wasn't really about like this is. I mean, obviously there's conflict in it and things like that, but it's. I guess with Gotham, it's an ongoing conflict, and just sort of showed how they were going to deal with it.
Yeah.
So it was only really an introduction to it. But yeah, like you said, it's a dummy's guide to Batman and Jim Gordon. And it really did fill the void for not having Gotham for the next few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, and for me, the only real letdown was Selena Kyle in this. It didn't feel right.
The voice didn't match.
No,
and I didn't really like the way she looked, although I did like her costume except for the tail.
With the way they look, this is pretty much drawn to look almost identical to the graphic novel, or the graphic novel, the comic. And so I did like that. That's what Selena does look like in the comic book. She does look.
Yeah, that's what I like.
That. The problem with the voice character for that one is that they got somebody who's a great voice actress in Elijah Dushku, but the voice just doesn't match.
That's why I did my snooty booties at the start.
No. This for me, like I said, this was a week of nuanced acting, and I wanted to get into the two different ways the two main characters played this, and one of them is because I'll get into the more important one second. Firstly is our man Ben McKensie, playing Batman in this. I believe I get the feeling he was told to be very cold and almost distant from the world, because with the exception of the part where he plays Bruce, the mask of Bruce Wayne, which Jim Gordon sees straight through, and the part where he kind of really goes into Batman mode when he's scaring off the the people at the dinner party.
Yep.
He's kind of just very like, here I am in Gotham and everything's bleak and that it felt almost kind of flat. It felt to me like Ben McKensie has never done a voiceover in a studio before, and because he didn't have anybody to act off of, he didn't really know how to act off the walls.
Yeah.
And so, as good as he is, that's a little bit of disappointment. He's a much better Jim Gordon than he is Batman.
His voice did change a lot as well. Like, there was points where you could tell that was Ben McKenzie, and then there was other points where it really felt like his voice changed a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it wasn't just changing between Batman and Bruce Wayne, it was inconsistent.
Yeah.
It may even, because I don't have the full synopsis of Ben's history, but it could have been nerves as well, because I dare say...
I think that was his first voiceover.
Yeah, so if you, can imagine it may have taken maybe 6 months to record the actual parts, over retakes. He may have been getting warmed up and more relaxed with just being in a sound booth with himself, where we know Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill they'll voice record together if they've got a scene together, where I don't know the setup was with this. If he had a lone part, which I dare say a lot was, because a lot of it's inner monologue, he may have just been by himself and been very, very nervous.
Yeah, I think that the only way I'll counter that is just with my other point of nuancing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that is with the other man I'm going to talk about. That's Mr. Bryan Cranston himself, who is what Jim Gordon should be.
Oh, yes.
Who's just perfect as Jim Gordon. And I guess that where I'll counter that is that Bryan Cranston, he's done voiceover work in the past. He did villains on Power Rangers and things like that. But he's not exactly a voiceover artist in the way you would call, say, Hank Azaria, a voiceover, Harry Shearer, voiceover artist. Yeah. But in this, he's able to bring the same amount of commitment and gravitas and emotion that he brings as Walter White. And that, to me, that is what makes this film. This film is worth watching for Bryan Cranston, because that is what Jim Gordon should be. And as good as what the fuck is his name? Gary Oldman. As good as Gary Oldman is in the Nolan trilogy, and don't get me wrong, he's great. Cranston just gets 10 out of 10. That should be and Ben McKenzie has no reason to not get Jim Gordon to the right place, because he's had the perfect yardstick in something he's already done.
Yeah.
And that's because that Jim Gordon, like the part where he's talking about beating up Flash, because he's taking out a Green Beret and all that, but he's just constantly and the way they draw him with I love Jim Gordon with the white lenses of his glasses and the black shadow. I just love little things like that. This Jim Gordon is just so
He's hyper masculine. Hyper masculine, and that's what a future.
But he's so controlled.
Yeah, he's a hyper masculine, controlled.
You're exactly right. You can see here why he needs to be commissioner.
He's an authority figure, and it's the utmost respect for that authority.
But he also isn't afraid to say "fuck you" to the system, like where he goes into Loeb's office and it's like after Loeb tries to have that guy killed. Yeah, and he's like, "Too bad, he's still alive, and he's going to testify, but you should know."
Yeah, it's great.
So this is going to be one of those times where we're talking just gush about the film.
That's it.
So I'm going to throw over to you, Braden, because there's only so much I can gush. What do you think?
I'm going to start with Cranston. I really want to see him on screen as Jim Gordon at some point in time. I really do. I'm sitting here in my Bryan Cranston Breaking Bad t-shirt. I put it on just for this occasion. I love it.
They haven't announced who the Commissioner Gordon is for the new DC films, and everybody kept talking about how they wanted Cranston for Lex Luthor. Yeah. I want him for Jim.
I want him for Jim. If you bulked him up, so he sort of resembled...
Doesn't even need bulking up, though, because he can be dressed in the suit and the jacket, which adds the bulk. You just need that crazy intense. Plus, it makes Batman look bigger.
Yeah, this is true. So maybe I'm just obsessed with the anime style drawing. I'll come back to this later, but maybe I'm just obsessed with the anime style drawing. Yeah.
Sorry, Jim's meant to be big, but I don't think he's meant to be bigger than you remember Cranston Breaking Bad time lost weight to look like a cancer sufferer. That's right. So you got to think.
But even then, he wasn't small.
No. Well, I mean, towards the end of it, once Walt's cancer actually went into remission, Cranston built his body back up, but he became more solid than he did pudgy. Yeah. And I think that's where you've got to look at is that kind of stocky cop. Yeah. Stodge. Yeah. As it were. Yeah. Sorry, Braden. Continue on with what you're saying.
Yeah, so he was definitely, one of my stars of the movie. Like I said, with Ben McKensie, I did enjoy his voice in parts, but he was just inconsistent.
Yeah.
Yeah, this movie for me really is, like I said, two sides of a coin coming together. And I don't know, I really enjoyed it. This probably, prior to us doing this podcast, I'd probably only seen maybe half a dozen or so animated movies. So this is one of the first ones that I'd ever seen.
Yep.
And it is a short movie, and I was sort of wondering, getting towards the end of it, because I wasn't sure of the length of it, is something more going to happen around Batman in this, but it's not. It is more about Jim Gordon, but that was okay, I really enjoyed that. That was great, and yeah, Cranston just made it, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cranston always does.
Yeah.
It's Cranston.
The animations are very different in this one as well. I really enjoyed it. Well, I felt they were a little bit different than what you would normally see.
Yeah.
Catwoman, I wasn't overly fond of her character. It wasn't too bad. I didn't like the way she looked.
Outside of the costume.
That was
or in
my
the
big
costume?
thing. Sorry?
Outside the costume or in?
Yeah, outside the costume. I liked the
I agree.
costume.
Yeah, costume was great.
The costume is bang on for me.
She was just too butch.
Yeah, I'll agree. They sort of drew her. There's that scene where we first have Bruce in the East End taking on the pimp.
Yep.
And she's there. She's looking out the window, and there's a shot of her from behind looking down, and she's got these massive traps, like she's been an Olympic gymnast or wrestler most of her life. I think they drew her too much of a dominatrix style. I think it's easy to get caught up in an animation world where, okay, we have to draw a strong woman, and they literally will draw Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, like muscly, like a little bit
She-Hulk.
bulky. Yeah, almost She-Hulk. Yeah, you're right. And it's just, it doesn't need to be that. I mean, for me, Catwoman's always been that femme fatale, sleek, lean,
Like a cat.
like a cat, one would say. So yeah, I think they just went a little bit overboard.
I think it was though that Selena Kyle, for all intents and purposes, is meant to be black, and so they drew her a bit thicker because black people are slightly thicker, just generally speaking. So I think they drew her along those lines, but because it's got a white girl's voice coming out of it,
It doesn't quite.
it's off-putting. So
Yeah.
you look at it from that standpoint. We're very used to Selena Kyle being a white chick.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that's where it comes in, is that it looks so out of place. But
Yep.
this is a black
Absolutely.
Selena Kyle.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if they gave her, say, I don't know, even Mariah Carey's voice would suit that a bit more.
Yep.
Because a girl with an African American background, something along those lines. Maybe
Aisha Taylor.
Is it Aisha or Asia?
Aisha.
Asia, yeah. Something with a bit more bass in it.
Yep.
But other than that, I mean, I think that for me is one of the only negatives, the only real drawbacks.
We're one of these films again where we're going to be sitting here being like, no negatives, really.
The only thing
She almost didn't really need to be in this movie.
No.
To a point. I mean, she didn't have any interaction with Jim whatsoever. The only one she did with Bruce or Batman the first time she was
I think it was just in there because they wanted to put a Batman villain in.
Yeah.
And you can't really, Harvey's in there for half a minute.
and he's not
Yeah.
even.
But you can't
And
really
Joker's
put in...
mentioned at the end.
Yeah, you can't put in the Joker. You can't really put in of him because none of them theoretically turn up until Batman's there.
Yeah.
Selena is the one that makes sense
Yeah.
because she is inspired by Batman.
Yeah.
Mm.
Absolutely.
The same in the comics. Like they follow they keep to the comic book lore
Yeah.
on this, and that's what I
Yeah.
appreciate.
I'll come back to the drawing style again. It's a very early 90s anime drawing style, which I appreciate it.
Yeah.
What I didn't like about it is when they came to draw the mob bosses and the mob boss's son and everyone who was of importance. I think it's meant to represent money, but they're all drawn very fat, overweight.
Fat, yeah.
Like the Roman and his nephew, is it Johnny? Yeah, Johnny.
Tits McGee.
Johnny Tits McGee, yeah. It's just, they don't necessarily need to be fat. I get the drawing style with, especially in Japan, if the character is fat, it represents affluence and money.
I was going to say
and
affluence,
greed.
wealth, and
Yeah, and you get that, but at the
social
same time,
standing.
this is a very Western culture you're drawing. So
Yeah.
they don't need to be fat. They can be, Moroni can be, like just a stocky 50-year-old, and his son can be like a weight
Football
nut.
player.
Yeah, he can be a football player. You know, he doesn't need to be fat.
Yeah.
You know, like mother says to do this. No, that's Christopher Walken. I'm sorry. But
Don't know what that was.
that was something. But you know, they don't need to be like Soprano-esque. They don't all need to look like mob bosses.
Yeah, exactly.
Simple as that.
Exactly.
That's probably one of my only negatives.
Yeah, there aren't many in this film.
Massive positive for me was the soundtrack.
Oh, the end song is a
Intense.
beast.
Intense.
Good old-fashioned electric guitar had in there.
I think Slash wrote that. That would have to be something
probably.
as well.
Definitely wasn't Prince.
No. Although, I did feel the lacking of Prince. There was lack of royalty.
We've been lacking Prince for a few episodes now. Alright, well, awards. Has anybody got a bitch for this film? Bitch award for the film?
Johnny.
Johnny?
Little Johnny. Nephew Johnny. His name is Johnny. The Romans...
right, yeah.
Any motherfucker who puts a knife to a baby, you're a bitch.
That's fucked up.
So, I mean, you know, that's just... Here's my bitch of the week.
Okay.
I don't even give Selena Kyle bitch of the week. So,
okay.
No, he gets my bitch of the week.
Who you got, Bray?
Yeah, I don't know about bitch of the week for this one. I might even just go with the blonde woman. I forget the one he hooks up with.
Oh, the one he pays $5,000 to.
Yeah,
the prostitute. Easiest $5,000.
Not the prostitute. The other cop, whatever she was.
Oh, Essen. That's Essen.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and
Oh, will you leave your wife for me? No.
Yeah,
Well,
if it wasn't for your wife being pregnant, because how long had they been together at that stage? A few weeks. And she's like, if your wife wasn't pregnant, fuck off.
Yeah,
on the
I
side.
think though that's kind of nowadays that doesn't make as much sense. But in comic book times, around that time, Essen and Gordon had just got together. So I think when they wrote that, they were trying to drop a little bit of a seed. They're like, oh shit, it all tied back in. How about that?
No.
No, my bitch of the week for this one goes to Commissioner Loeb. Because I hate that smarmy fat fuck.
He's so well done in this film, though.
The only thing missing is in the comic, he unwraps and sucks eucalyptus chews all the time. I know he's like the string of like lifesavers going, but I like the eucalyptus wraps. It's that more to me. That was in the comic. I could smell that every time they mention it. I'm like, yeah, you fucking rapper rattling,
clear nasal cavity having,
you son of a bitch.
Look at your waistline.
You mothball smelling bastard. But yeah, no. So Cranston.
Cranston.
Well, yeah,
Cranston.
Cranston.
Well, then I think
I'm going to give an honorary Cranston to Ben McKenzie.
I think we need to point something out here that I haven't pointed out yet. We have a case of Cransception. Because we have Bryan Cranston in a movie where he's receiving the Cranston Award that we normally give out to movies which we've honoured by giving the name of our favourite and best actor of all time, Bryan Cranston.
Yes.
But then also within this movie is former multiple-time Cranston winner, Ben McKenzie, playing the character that ultimately he's now in the TV series going to grow up to, I guess, inspire. Cransception.
Fantastic.
That just fucked my head. My head is currently fucked.
Better than The Dark Knight Rises.
I was talking about Inception, but it's fine.
Cransception. So yeah, that's this movie. What? How many gloves?
8.
8 out of 5.
8 gloves.
You found an extra box of gloves.
I did.
You found all the ones Barry's been throwing away.
I think he's been hoarding them at home, you know, for wiping purposes.
Jesus. I'm going with 4 gloves, 4 fingers.
Whoa. You were waiting for that one perfect film.
Yep. Waiting for?
Yeah,
we watched it. We watched it weeks ago. It came out in 1966, mate, and a bloke drove a Batmobile with a valid driver's license at the correct speed limit while wearing a mask to hide his mustache face. So how dare you come in here and imply that there has not been the greatest film ever made on this show already?
How dare you, sir?
We're just everything from here is just, it's been downhill, honestly.
You haven't seen Throne of Atlantis yet.
I think it's time to pack this show in because I don't think
we're done. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's our last show ever from here from the back end. It's been a good run.
Alright, Bray, how many fingers you giving this?
I'm going to give it 4 gloves, 3 fingers.
Oh,
it's decent. That's decent.
Not bad.
It's not Nate, but you know.
So what? So if you don't mind my asking, what led to the 2 fingers that have been cut off?
I don't want to go like as quite as close
You don't want
to
to wait?
perfection as what you are. It's pretty close to confection, but I just don't want to commit to it.
So you're having commitment issues.
Yeah.
So, hang on, just make sure I got this right. This is the chick with, like, she's got great eyes, great butt, great set of tits, but the nose, a bit big and a bit hooked, so you're like, oh... I mean, surgery could fix that in time. She might balance out or grow into that, but ultimately,
But then you got the feet as well.
yeah, if I could live with that. Plus, you know...
You don't want to wait.
I don't want to wait for my life to be over. I want to know right now. What will it be?
So
I don't want to wait.
Don't do this again.
For my life to be over. Will it be yes, or will it be...
It's going to be no.
Sorry.
Do. I was going to join in there, but I wasn't. Is it maybe or sorry? Shit, I don't remember.
Oh, you're letting the team down on your Dawson's Creeks here.
You one glover.
You should be... Yeah, you're fucking one glover. You need to take a swim in the creek.
Oh, Lordy.
Well, that brings us to the bat sack for this week. Has anybody got any bat sack?
No, there is a lack of sack.
Yeah, the sack did not fill up. I think Batman...
Drained the sack.
Yeah, he must have had a wank.
Possibly.
In our break.
Possibly.
And now the sack's just bone dry. He paid $5,000 and got his money's worth this time.
Yeah, more than just grape juice and small talk.
Well, I guess we'll probably have some bat sack next week, now that we're back.
Yeah, well, I guess while we're talking about our fans, we might as well mention what's it called? The contest, the caption contest we've been doing.
Oh, yeah.
Started doing. Probably a good idea.
Our weekly Sunday caption contest. I like it.
There is, there is. We've been running that for about 2 weeks. I shared it on my own personal page on Facebook, and my cousin replied, and I didn't forward it back to the Batcave page. So I'm bad at my job.
Yeah, you are. You'll have to.
I will
send it through to us.
I will track it down because it was actually I actually had a giggle for a while because he's the type of person you don't expect this shit from.
Nice.
So
they're always the best ones.
Yeah. So I will track that down and I will post it on our wall.
Please do.
And we shall transfer it into a glorious man.
Please do, and obviously that'll be up every Sunday,
Yeah.
as it always is. And don't forget that also you can find us on WordPress and on iTunes, and we're also available on Stitcher for those of you with Androids who are just like, I want to listen to some podcasts, but I don't want to have to give my money to the now Steve Jobless Corporation. Well, you can listen to it on Stitcher. We've got that there for you. Plus on YouTube we have all sorts of videos and wacky moments and behind the scenes and all sorts of crazy shit that gets put up there, so don't forget to visit us there. But otherwise, I think we're at the end of the show for another week, if I'm not mistaken. So, any parting thoughts from you, gentlemen, to our fans before we go?
Ask us questions, give us feedback. We yearn to hear from you.
We can feel it in our loins, we ache.
Well, my loins aren't aching, you might want to
I burn, I pine, I perish.
You need to see a doctor.
Yeah, well, it has lasted longer than 4 to 6 weeks.
So,
And I think it's only meant to be 4 to 6 hours that you're meant to wait.
Yeah.
On the plus
But
side,
then
though,
again, you don't wanna
I
wait.
haven't needed a nutcracker for a while. No, I don't want to wait for my life to be over. I want to know right now, what will it be? I don't want to wait for my life to be over. Will it be yes, or will it be sorry? On behalf of myself, Red Sun Adam Gerard, the Honey Badger Terry O'Neill,
Goodbye.
and the dropping things in the background while I'm trying to make outro packages Dad Night, Braden ahead.
Noochie boochie.
We'll see you all next week, live from the Batcave.
And who are you?
I'm Batman.
I'm Batman.
I'm Batman. I'm Batman. I'm Batman.
Yes, I'm Batman.
Telegraph.
I am Batman.
I'm Batman.
I'm Batman.
I'm Batman.
You sound like Cookie Monster.
I'm Batman. That's Batman. I'm Batman.
I'm Batman.
I'm thirsty. I'm hungry.
I'm Batman.
I'm Batman.
I'm Batman. I'm Batman.
I'm Batman. I'm Batman.
Darling, I don't have to answer to you. I'm Batman.
I'm totally Batman. Clearly, I am Batman.
I am Batman.
This has been a Cabana production.
We're going to be live next week.
And there's the tag to go out.